Hey, business building warrior, thanks for joining me on Silent Sales Machine Radio, the podcast that features incredible, real stories from real people who are completely new and clueless and struggling in most cases and go on to build beautiful businesses using the strategies we teach here. That's right. Most episodes are interviews with those kinds of incredible business building warriors that inspire, encourage, and equip you for your own success. That's what we love to do here. But we also have episodes like this one where it's just you and me hanging out, going through what I hope is some very valuable, encouraging information for you today. I brainstormed through and prepared a list today for us to go through of the top 10 reasons why I believe we are entering an incredible era to be a reseller, specifically on Amazon, also on Walmart as well. There's some other arenas as well that are worth paying attention to. But specifically, right now, early 2025, with the forecast that's ahead of us, and I've been right way more often than I've been wrong on these kind of things over the past 20 years. I think we're entering an incredible season of incredible growth and opportunity for specifically Amazon resellers. Now, let me tell you what I didn't just say. I didn't just say that that's the only opportunity that's on the horizon. I didn't just say that's the only way to make money on Amazon. I didn't just say there's no other ways to make money on the internet. What I am saying is, for those of us who are paying attention to what I believe to be the lowest hanging fruit business opportunity online, for those of us who are in the Amazon reseller arena, there has never been a brighter 6-month, 1 year, 18-month, 5-year forecast ahead of us than there is right now. Making now a great time to get started, making now a great time to focus more on your business if you've been ignoring it. And I'm going to make my best case for that with 10 observations, backing it up with as much facts and data that I can so you can go research this and see if you come to the same conclusions. All right, let's start right here. The e-commerce forecast. Google it, ask your favorite AI bot. The fact is, e-commerce is exploding. The forecast for e-commerce, the future forecast for e-commerce, that specific sector is better than virtually any other economic sector globally. E-commerce is projected to grow more in the coming year, 5-year, 10-year projections than virtually any other economic sector you can look at. That's pretty amazing. Most sectors are looking at flat lines. Some are looking at slow decline. Some are looking at a slow improvement. E-commerce, however, is looking at explosive growth. So there's that. Okay, so what's that have to do with us as Amazon resellers? Well, here's what it has to do with that. E-commerce is still only 18 or so % of all economic activity, retail-wise, in the United States. You've heard me say these things before. That's a pretty small number, but it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Not so long ago, e-commerce was only 5%. Now it's 18%. The forecasted growth is huge. Amazon is half that game. That's the point. All the other millions of websites share the other half of the pie. Amazon is half the pie. The top 10 competitors to Amazon added all together are still smaller than Amazon. That's where the eyeballs are. That's where the opportunity is. That's where the infrastructure is. And I'm going to make my best case for that's where you should be paying a whole lot of attention if you aren't, no matter what else you're into. We've got people with full-time jobs. You've heard them on this podcast, full-time jobs. They've got 10 or 15 hours a week to put into a business. They're willing to do the work, pay attention to the details, do things the right way, not step on any of the landmines that a lot of new sellers without proper instruction wind up stepping on. But if you can stick with us and we can help you go through that process, you could be establishing one of the most beautiful businesses that's available to us in the age that we live in. And we prove it over and over and over again around here. We'd love to make you our next success story if you're interested. But that's number one. The forecast for e-commerce is better and brighter than any other economic forecast for any other sector. Next, I've kind of already hit on this one, but I kind of dropped a double whammy on you with that first one. Amazon is half the game. Don't forget that. When you're looking at other smaller niche opportunities, other things kind of off the beaten path, that's great. I'm all about long tail opportunities. I'm all about you using your poetry blog to monetize a few affiliate dollars per month. That's great. Have fun. But if you're ready to go further, faster, and get in front of the customers that are spending a lot of money every day, that's Amazon. We're going to shove you over there. If you go through the book, Silent Sales Machine, you can get it for free, by the way. It's sold over 1 million copies. It's got thousands of 5-star reviews when we were selling it on Amazon. I don't sell it on Amazon anymore because I can't give it away free there. So we just give it away free at silentjim.com/free11. One of the things I go through in that book is talking you through the landscape of opportunities that are available to you if you want to build a flexible lifestyle business using the internet creatively from home. What are the options out there? There's only really 3 business categories that we've identified, and I talk you through the 3. I talk you through the advantages and disadvantages, what it takes to succeed in each of them. I talk you out of all of the ridiculous models. I mean, you know that these guys with piles of cash and, cars that they rented for the day, filming these videos on Instagram and TikTok, you shouldn't be listening to those guys, right? You know that you should be asking questions like, hey, if you're so good at teaching this, where's your large community of students who are thrilled with the results they're getting, talking about how great you are, hanging out in a group like we have here? They don't have that. You need that. So in that book, I'm going to talk you through the ideas you should avoid, the obvious signs that you're dealing with a scam, the good questions to ask before you invest your hard-earned dollars in any business opportunity. And I kind of steer you towards what makes the most sense for you. It's kind of almost an individual, create your own experience type of book as I talk you through what your options are. Most people are going to wind up saying, okay, I want the lowest risk, lowest dollars required, lowest learning curve, highest odds of success business model. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to build something I can be proud of. I'm going to build a real business, an asset that can be sold someday, but I need to do it the right way. The book's going to lead you to that conclusion unless you have a really good reason to go focus elsewhere. That's one of the favors we do for you in that book, is kind of talk you through that completely free. And this is based on over 2 decades of experience, having coached nearly 10,000 people in e-commerce. I do the stuff we teach. Our team does it. We have 60 coaches who do this all day, every day. We'd love to be the ones that help get you to that next stage. silentjim.com/free11 is how you get a free copy of that book. All right, let's keep moving on. What's next on my list? Let's go to number 3 of the reasons that I believe we have a very bright future ahead of us. We are seeing incredible success stories in our community right now. There was an 18-month or so period there where the wave of 2020 had kind of come and gone, where everybody was shopping online and spending ridiculous amounts of money because they were getting free government checks. This money was flying everywhere. One of the big reasons we have inflation right now, by the way, that we're crawling our way back out of. But there was a real dip there where people were like, I just don't know. Is the economic future bright? Are people going to keep spending? Are things going to keep growing? Is the opportunity still viable? And they were saying that about absolutely everything, right? There was just kind of this malaise that had settled over the economy globally and in the US, as far as, is now a good time to launch a business type of attitudes were, they were just fewer and harder to find. A lot of people did really well in our community. We continued to thrive, but we felt that. Coming out of that now, here's one of the strongest pieces of evidence. Success stories are piling up faster than I can talk to our students. I'm booked out weeks at a time with people who are saying, yeah, I'd love to hop on a podcast and share my success story. Just started 6 months ago. It's going beautifully. Love your team. Love the business. Bright future. Super excited to talk about it. We got people who've been doing it for years coming back and saying, yeah, I had to pivot there a couple of years ago, but man, it's blowing up again. This is amazing. So the success stories are piling on. That's an indicator for me. Because remember, if you've ever heard me say this before, 20 plus years ago, when I decided, okay, I want to start teaching others how to do what it is I'm doing, I decided then, and I've held to it ever since, the only metric I will use to measure my success as a trainer in e-commerce is success stories. And we're piling up the success stories as evidence of 2 things. 1, we love what we do and we're good at it. And 2, there is a very, very bright future for Amazon reselling, which is the basic business model that we teach, unless you have a really good reason to go into some other strategy. I mean, we love helping launch major household brands. We've done that. We've got brands in our community that were launched here from nothing and no one had ever heard of them to being in 35,000 grocery stores. We love doing that. But as a new seller with a few $1,000s, dipping your toe in the water, that's not what you should have your sights set on. We want you to slowly build to opportunities that are slightly bigger than what you can pursue right now. That's Amazon reselling. Wade in nice and slow, take small risks, build a nice catalog of ASINs that you can sell against. Let that momentum open other doors. That's the model we love here. So that was number 3. Success stories are piling up. Next, there's a new feature that came out. Scott Needham is a great leader in the Amazon reselling world. He's got a tool, among other things, that he's doing. He sold a whole bunch on Amazon, but he's got a tool called Smart Scout. They just came out with a new feature in Smart Scout. I'm corresponding with him, trying to dig in and get more detail. It just came out yesterday. So I'm playing around with this. I made a video. I stuck it in our Facebook group. I'll put a link to that video where I demonstrate this new feature. And this isn't me trying to get you to go buy some new software. This is me making the point that the future of Amazon is quite possibly brighter as an opportunity for resellers than any of us could even imagine prior. And I don't know that that was the intention of this new feature that Scott made, but that's certainly what lit a fire into me. Let me describe it to you. Since this is an audio, and most people who consume this content are just listening, you're going to have to use your imagination, close your eyes if you have to, but just imagine a map of the United States. And now imagine you're looking at one ASIN and its availability, one listing on Amazon and its availability across those 50 states. And in each state, you could look and see who owns the buy box on Amazon for that state. That's the visual map that Scott has created as a feature of Smart Scout. And if you want to go check it out yourself, it's a great investment to get this tool for many reasons. It's one of the great research tools that we use. Go to silentjimdotcom/SS, as in Smart Scout. Last I checked, we're one of their top affiliates. We love referring people over there. Whether you use our affiliate link or not, I don't care, but you get a good discount if you do. But the point is, this map, among a couple dozen other features, this map is really cool because for the first time, you can get a visual image of, and it actually shows right on the screen. You type in the ASIN, hit search, it searches Amazon and says, here's who has the buy box in every state. Now, it doesn't go down to zip code level, it just goes in every state. So I'm guessing it picks a major city in each state and says, who's winning the buy box right now? Here's the seller that's winning. And what you'll notice is on many ASINs, there's 4, 5, 10, 15 different winners of the buy box. What does that mean, and why does that paint a bright future for the future of Amazon's reselling? Here's why. Because right now, today, on Amazon, there are shoppers looking to get fast delivery on even the most popular products, and they simply can't get it as fast as they wish they could because no one has the buy box locally. Because besides showing who has the buy box on this map, here's the other thing that Smart Scout does. It shows you how many days away it would take, how many days for delivery for that product. So I'm looking at even some of the most popular ASINs with multiple sellers and maybe 12, 15 different people winning the buy box. You can do this yourself. You can play with the tool yourself. And still, there's some states in the United States where it's going to take you 4 or 5 days to get that product because there's no one supplying Amazon's FBA warehouses in that state with even the most common, everyday, most in-demand products. So stated differently, and hang with me and rewind if you need to hear me say this once or twice, because this really helps paint the picture, I think. This is as clean as I've figured out a way to say what I'm trying to say here on this point. We have a very bright future as resellers because every day on Amazon, including today, millions of shoppers are going to hop on Amazon looking for the products they want and discover that they just can't get them as fast as they'd like to. They'd be willing to pay a whole lot more than they're being charged if they could just get it faster. And the shelves are understocked on even the most common everyday items. And we have overwhelming evidence now of this. So winning on Amazon isn't just about winning the price war against whoever happens to have the lowest price. If there's one seller in the Northeast of the United States who has it priced $10 cheaper than everyone else, that doesn't mean they're going to win all the sales, because there may be someone on the opposite side of the country in Los Angeles, let's say, and there's no warehouse that has any of that inventory. If you happen to have a unit near that person, they're going to be willing to pay more to get it faster. They don't want to wait 4 or 5 days to get it. They'd rather get it now. In many cases, 2-hour delivery is possible if a unit of inventory is sitting in a warehouse near a shopper. So it starts to paint a picture for you, hopefully a visual image, map of the United States, people wanting stuff fast. Shoppers want stuff fast. Not everyone does. Some people are willing to wait 3, 4, 5 days to save $10. Okay. A lot of people say, there's a unit in a warehouse near me. I'll take it. 2-hour delivery. Sounds good. They don't even price shop. Those are underserved ASINs, and there are millions of them, and we prove it all the time around here. I'll stick a link in the show notes where you can go investigate that a little bit more. We call it the above buy box strategy, and to date, we're the only ones teaching it. I'm sure a year or so from now, everyone else will be claiming that they've been teaching it forever, but for the last year and a half, I haven't heard anyone else saying a word about this, and it is exploding in our community. You've heard many people on our podcast mention it as well. We're super excited about this. There are underserved ASINs there. Or stated differently, there's a lot of underserved shelf space at Amazon's hundreds of warehouses right now on the most common, easily sourced, boring items that you can pay full retail price for, send them in, a few units at a time, priced higher than the other sellers, and sell several units per month at a nice profit. It's an incredible strategy that very few people are pursuing because it takes a little mental work to understand it. But the bottom line is, if you're on a busy ASIN that's popular, try a high price, watch what happens. Unless there's a lot of inventory spread out across the country, you're going to find yourself making some nice high price, nice margin sales on that product. That's reason number 4 why I think we have a very bright future as Amazon resellers. The next one is just kind of a more general observation of how things go when we get small government-minded politicians in office. I'm talking about people who talk about cutting taxes instead of raising taxes. Raising taxes tends to slow the economy. Cutting taxes tends to speed things up. Shoppers shop more. That's what we're looking at. We've got a majority in the United States of our elected officials from this last round. Putting politics aside, let's just talk pure math. When the tax rates go down, economic activity goes up. It's a repeated pattern that you see over and over and over and over and over again. I'm old enough to remember the 80s. I'm old enough to remember when Ronald Reagan just slashed taxes down to a fraction of what they had been prior to him coming into his administration. And there was a lot of worrying and freaking out. People, oh no, the government's not going to have any money. Well, what ended up happening is the government had way more money than it had ever had before because the economy exploded in activity. I think we're looking at something pretty similar. What happens when the economy explodes with activity? Well, I'd kind of like to be in the fastest growing economic sector, riding on the horse of the biggest dog in the fight. That's the one I want to ride. Who's the biggest dog in the fight? It's Amazon. Now, that doesn't mean we're only about Amazon. It just means they're the biggest dog in the fight. We're loving Walmart as well. I've got multiple income streams. I love all kinds of business models. There's so many ways to succeed on Amazon itself, let alone the legit business models that are out there. But if I had to place my bet as a starting newbie or as someone who really needs this to work on what am I going to get into, yeah, I'd bet on the biggest economic sector growing the fastest, and I'd bet on the biggest dog in that fight. That's Amazon with a very bright future. I don't think we're going to see a shrink in the economy. I think we're going to see an explosion in the economy. You can disagree with me. That's okay. You can disagree with me on any of these, but I think the forecast for the economic future is very bright for the United States right now. Now is a great time to be launching a business of any kind compared to, say, 2, 3, even 5, 7 years ago, when things were about to go crazy in the world with, COVID. A lot of people got shut down. Well, we're not in that world anymore. I think things are ramping up fast. Hey, we'll get back to the episode in just a moment, but check this out. We've got a new sponsor of the show that I really want to tell you about. It's Profit Cyclops. You can check them out at silentjim.com/Cyclops, CYCLOPS. For $2 per month, they can help an Amazon seller really dive into their numbers and see all the moving parts. That's right. You can know exactly how profitable each of your sales are for each of the products in your catalog. And that's not all they do for just $2 per month. They will also find any reimbursements that Amazon owes you and make sure you get them. That's right. No extra fee. They will also help you with repricing. What a robust suite of tools this is. Check out Profit Cyclops at silentjimdotcom/Cyclops. If you're a new seller selling less than $5,000 per month, their services are ridiculously inexpensive. And even if you're bigger than that, they're still priced so reasonable that you've got to go check them out. A whole host of suite of services. I'm not going to go into all of it right now, but you need to go check out Profit Cyclops at silentjim.com/Cyclops, spelled CYCLOPS. Thanks for the sponsorship, guys. Hey, let's get back to today's episode. When things were about to go crazy in the world with, COVID, a lot of people got shut down. Well, we're not in that world anymore. I think things are ramping up fast. Sorry if that felt a little political to you. It's not. I'm just being very pragmatic, and I'm prognosticating out, hey, this is what I'm seeing. All right. Maybe you disagree, but mark that one off the list if you need to. I've still got 9 other great ones for you. Keep your eye on Keepa. What's Keepa? Keepa is a tool that we talk about all the time around here, silentjim.com/Keepa. You can go see it, check it out for yourself. Episode 369 of our podcast, we talk about this tool. To my knowledge, they scrape Amazon's database better than anyone. They've got 1 billion plus ASINs or listings that they're monitoring at any given time. They give you the best possible insight into making good decisions about what inventory you should or shouldn't invest in, especially as a reseller. Well, what I'm noticing, and you can do your own experiments and see the same thing, the Amazon database isn't shrinking, guys. There's more brands coming on constantly. There's more ASINs coming on constantly. It's exploding in growth, and I think that's only going to continue. The number of viable ASINs, the number of viable listings on Amazon that you can sell against is expanding more rapidly than there are competent, qualified sellers to sell against them. Now, you're going to hear some people push back on that and go, oh, no, Jim, I heard that some brands are kicking people off. Some brands don't want people selling on. That's been the case for 20 plus years, guys. That's the reality of being a reseller, is you're selling brands that you are legally allowed to sell. You're within Amazon's policy allowed to sell, but the brand isn't very happy with it. We call those grumpy brands. And you can decide if you want to battle with grumpy brands or not. Sometimes it doesn't go your way. It's not worth it. Getting a FedEx letter from a scary lawyer saying, stop selling our brand. Sometimes you need to pay attention to that. That's why we keep Jeff Schick on retainer on our team for a few dollars a month, jeffschick.com, just like the razor. We run all that past him. 90% of the time, he's like, yeah, you can ignore that. First sale doctrine is the law of the land. What's that mean? If I own something, I'm allowed to sell it. First sale doctrine is embraced by Amazon. What's that mean? Amazon says, hey, that seller over here trying to sell your brand, Mr. Grumpy Brand, they're not doing anything wrong. It's a legitimate listing for a legitimate product. There's no copyright issues. There's no trademark issues. It's a clean listing. If you don't like what's happening here, sorry, you can try to go to the Supreme Court and overturn the first sale doctrine if you'd like. The vast majority of the time, that's what happens. Now, sometimes you'll see issues, and I'm not going to dive into these weeds, but sometimes you'll see issues where there is a trademark or a policy violation, or the brand has worked out an arrangement with Amazon saying, hey, we want to go exclusive. We want to only sell through you, to their own detriment, I might add. And the vast majority of brands that do that, by the way, end up changing their mind because they sell nowhere near as much when they shut off the resellers. The reselling channel exists for many, 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 many reasons. And one of them is the brand is going to sell a whole lot more stuff if they turn the channel on. But if they decide to make the channel the enemy, that's us, the reselling channel, if they make us the enemy, sales will slow. They may think they're protecting their brand and protecting the customer experience, and some will play with that, and some will stay there, and that's fine, and some will legally lock it down. But it's very easy to learn how to spot those brands, and it certainly isn't some kind of big, scary trend that is ending reselling as we know it. No, the game is getting better for resellers. There are more brands all the time being launched that you're eligible to sell against. The ones that get a little grumpy oftentimes swing back to not being grumpy. And here's the good news too. Let's say there are a lot of grumpy brands out there that you encounter. You're qualified to have a conversation with them and help them navigate the confusing Amazon landscape that they're trying to be so protective about. It's a huge opportunity. Amazon just a few months ago kicked a whole bunch of brands out of their vendor central system, meaning these brands can't sell direct to Amazon, even if they want to. They're not big enough. Amazon only wants the really, really big boys sending in truckloads of pallets at a time. There's hundreds of thousands of brands that don't qualify anymore. They used to work with the smaller guys. They don't anymore. They kicked them out. So now these confused brands are left deciding, do I want to learn all the skills that's involved in being a channel partner with Amazon? Or do I just want to find someone else to help me manage this? As a reseller, you're qualified and you could probably in your sleep manage these brands. All you got to do is approach them and have a conversation, which is why we say all the time, this is a relationship business. And you'll hear people on our show all the time saying, yeah, I'm a reseller and I've got a handful of exclusive deals with other brands that are grumpy to other resellers. But man, they love me because I'm helping them manage their online presence, specifically their Amazon strategies. Pretty cool stuff, right? So even if grumpy brands are coming on the scene, give them a phone call, have a conversation, hop on Zoom, set up a zero lose proposition. There's no way you're going to lose, brand. I'm not asking for anything from you except opportunity to sell more of your product and do it the right way, keeping prices where you want them, map prices, minimum advertised pricing, whatever it is that's got them all in a huff about Amazon. Hey, we can help solve that. Let me help you navigate that. Let me be your Amazon guy. Brands out there need that kind of help left and right. It's called the agency model. We teach it in the Proven Amazon course, actually. It's called the PPP, or Proven Product Partnering module, inside the Proven Amazon course. It's sold separately if you want to go check it out, provenproductpartnering.com. I'll stick a link in the show notes. If I forget, remind me. But it's free inside the Proven Amazon course library, where we teach you how to do that model. All right, let's keep it rocking. I said we're watching Keepa. That's where I got started on that point. Keepa is evidence that there's 1 billion plus ASINs right now, and millions and more all the time are eligible to be sold against by you. And they are underserved. There's so many underserved ASINs, meaning remember what I said before, the map of the US, there's just not enough inventory spread around the country. It's exploding. Keepa is the proof there. It would take us, it would take us over 30 years, 32 years, I think Brian said on our team, to look at every ASIN on Amazon 1 second and move on to the next one. That's every listing on Amazon. And so many of those, millions and millions of them, are eligible for resellers to sell against. Wide open, guys. Wide open opportunity. Consistent policy enforcement. Thank you, Amazon. Thank you. The circles are starting to overlap. What are the circles I'm talking about? The circle of here's our policies, everyone, and here's our enforcement. It used to be two separate universes. And over the years, those circles have started to overlap. They mean what they say what they mean, they enforce the policy as consistently as they ever have. If you know the rules and you stay within policy, it's smooth sailing, in other words. If you don't know the rules or you stay out of policy for some reason, you make some of the big, silly mistakes we see, especially new sellers making. I'll give you a couple examples if you'd like. But then you're going to have trouble. And Amazon is very serious about enforcing their policies now. So the consistency of the written rules and the enforcement of the rules, those circles are starting to overlap very cleanly as I've ever seen. And it's a great thing. What are some of the stupid things we see new sellers doing? Well, go to silentjimdotcom/mistakes. That's a redirect link that will take you right into our Facebook group to a post where we've listed out, I think it's about 15 silly things we see new sellers do that could completely undermine your future as a seller on Amazon. If you avoid those, your odds of surviving and thriving go way up. But if you think the way to win on Amazon is to go down to Al's bargain bin down the street where he's got pallets wrapped in plastic and put in a bid on one of them and then sell all that stuff like it's new on Amazon or even used, refurbished. No, you're not allowed to do those things. You got to have a valid chain of custody. Amazon wants to know that all the products being sold on their site are from an authorized retailer, website, wholesaler, distributor. It's got to be authorized. How do you know if it's authorized, Jim? That sounds scary. No, it's not scary at all. You ask the brand if the source you're buying from is authorized to sell their product. You don't have to ask for their permission to sell it on Amazon. That's not what I just said. You don't need their permission. Amazon gives you permission to sell the brand. They tell you if you're eligible or not. What you do need to find out from the brand is, hey, I'm getting ready to buy some of your product from Al's Bargain Bin Basement. I'm going to buy a pallet of it. Do you recognize him as an authorized distributor, retailer, wholesaler, website for your product? And they're going to say, never heard of him. And that means to you, don't sell that stuff on Amazon. It's that simple. It really is that simple. A receipt from Walmart, walk into the retail store, buy stuff off the shelf. That receipt is 100% good 100% of the time for 100% of the things in that store, because Amazon is 100% authorized to sell every brand on their store shelves when you walk into their retail store. Right? It's that simple. It really is that simple, as are multiple other retail stores. But if you lose sight of that and think, Jim said I need an invoice or a receipt and I'm good. No, that's not what I said. It has to be an invoice or receipt from an authorized wholesaler, distributor, retailer, or website. And then you're 100% good. Big difference. A lot of people get confused on that issue. Hopefully that's not you. That's one example from our list of mistakes that we see new sellers making that completely derails their business. All right, let's keep it rolling. Maturing tools. Ooh, this is a good one. The tools of our industry are maturing. Those of us who are paying attention can see the shift happening. Reselling on Amazon used to mean having a collection of tools and spreadsheets and just a big old mishmash of different things plugged together, and everyone's business looked completely different. And there's going to be a lot of that going forward. And that's great. If you've got a system that you love and tools that you like and you've pieced them together, you got a smooth running machine. I'm not here to rock the boat, but I am here to say there's some tools emerging, specifically the system, silentjimdotcom/the system. Man, go check out that page. Go listen to podcast episode 754 if you haven't. That's the guy behind the system. Multiple seven-figure seller in our community. Incredible story, motivating and encouraging, and it's going to blow your mind what's possible with just a tiny team of a couple of people and a workflow system that's daily. We're adding multiple new features. We're seeing them added to this software, and it completely runs the workflow. Well, what's the big deal there, Jim? Well, the big deal is, for the first time that I'm aware of, it's becoming very viable that your business that you're building could be a flippable asset. You could sell it to someone else. It could be valuated by a professional who goes, yep, this is what your business is worth. And you could hand those keys over to someone else. And you're not handing them 50 spreadsheets and 18 virtual assistants and Eddie who shows up every Thursday in the garage and puts stuff together for you. You know, it doesn't have to be a complex machine anymore with all kinds of moving parts. It can be narrowed down to the simplest moving parts, a workflow, one software tool, couple people, maybe a virtual assistant. If you're doing your own prep, maybe there's one prep person that's needed. And you can hand that machine over to someone else and you can explain it on a 3x5 index card about the moving parts versus the opposite, which is what most of us kind of grew up with, right? 15 different software tools and spreadsheets and, you know, people all over the planet kind of keep this thing dialed in. It doesn't have to be like that anymore. So as I see the software tools maturing, the research tools are maturing, those of us who are paying attention to the details, I think you can see where this is going. Those of us who are building relationships and using the right tools and being very intentional, staying within policy, are building an incredible asset that could, at some point, if you'd like, be sold or turned over to someone else. Phenomenal. So I think that makes the future very bright for resellers as well, because we haven't always been able to say those kinds of things. Next, Amazon is actively recruiting new sellers. This whole theory that pops up every time Amazon makes a fee change or a policy change, I think Amazon's trying to destroy resellers. No, they're not. Resellers make up about 35% of the catalog. Amazon will make hundreds of millions of dollars off of resellers this year, and they did last year, and they're going to make even more next year. Amazon loves resellers when they do it the right way. If you're filling their shelves with questionable, unauthorized inventory, you're going to have a bad time. You're not going to enjoy the Amazon experience, and you're going to walk away from selling on Amazon thinking, Amazon sure is mean. They hate resellers. No, they don't. They only like the resellers that understand and stay within policy. However, then it's very rewarding. So Amazon is actively recruiting new sellers constantly because so many sellers, resellers specifically, just won't stay within the well-lit path guidelines of what it means to resell on the platform. They think they can go buy a pallet from Al's bargain bin and throw the stuff on Amazon and send an invoice saying, yep, Al's bin said this is legitimate inventory. He didn't get it from China. And you expect Amazon to go, okay, we'll trust you this time. No, they have no way of proving. Think if push comes to shove and the brand sues Amazon, Amazon has to be able to stand up in court and go, we can prove with 100% certainty that that inventory went from manufacturing to distributor authorized by the brand to a retail outlet authorized by the brand to the seller on our platform who has a receipt, and that chain goes all the way back. So that product is 100% without a doubt authentic. Amazon has to be able to do that. And if you're robbing them of the opportunity to do that, they can get sued by these brands that say, I think you're selling counterfeit. Amazon has to be able to prove that they're not selling counterfeit. If you don't play ball in helping them be able to prove that, if push comes to shove, they don't like you as a reseller. So you're kind of right when you say Amazon doesn't like resellers. Yeah, they don't like the ones that don't pay attention to the details and pay attention to the rules, because they get sued a lot and they've got to be able to defend themselves. And they'll bring you right along for the ride, the nice smooth ride, and defend you too if you're doing the business the right way. If you're not, your receipt or invoice isn't going to be any good. And there's a host of other little ways that you can really mess things up, such as setting up listings for brands that aren't yours. You can't change the name of a brand so you can get through the ungating process easier. I'll just set up a new listing. Since I'm not approved to sell these Garmin watches, I'm going to spell Garmin with an E instead of an I and set up my own listing. And then Amazon shuts it down and gives you a smack, and you come back online and say, Amazon hates resellers. No, they want a clean marketplace. They want authorized product on their platform, right? It only makes sense. If you stay within policy, you're going to have a fantastic experience being a reseller on Amazon. And the future is bright because Amazon is actively recruiting, saying, we need more sellers. They want more brands, yes. They want more resellers as well. There's incentives built into their systems. They're giving all kinds of great incentives at any given time to new sellers. Just a steady stream of incentives and resources. And they're bending over backwards, especially with the pressure that's coming on from the next point I want to make, Walmart. Now, I wouldn't say Walmart is breathing down Amazon's neck yet, but it's turning into a bit of a David and Goliath thing where Goliath knows how this story ends. He's read that book, right? And so Walmart is this little guy over here, maybe not a threat yet, but could be. And here's the cool part. We win either way. As resellers, we win either way. There's absolutely no reason not to have a Walmart selling account if you're already on Amazon. And Amazon has matured to the point, I have a bit of a theory, you might find this enjoyable. Hopefully you find the humor in this, but as a company matures and hires lawyers, they get harder to work with. Walmart doesn't have as many lawyers yet to worry about. Amazon has, I don't know how many lawyers they have. They got a bunch of them. Walmart doesn't have quite as many yet. So it's a little friendlier marketplace now where buyer and sellers kind of, throw caution to the wind a little bit. Now, over time, I'm sure Walmart will catch up and hire a whole bunch of lawyers to kill all the fun. But right now, it's a lot easier to sell product on Walmart without having to jump through 1,000 hoops to do it in some cases. Amazon's feeling the heat and they're accommodating. They're recruiting sellers. They want to be the big boy in town. They want to maintain that position, but Walmart's starting to gain ground. Walmart's growing faster than Amazon is. They're still tiny in comparison, but they're growing faster than Amazon is. We've got many sellers in our community doing really, really well on Walmart. And from my vantage point, the fact that Amazon's doing great, Walmart reselling is catching up very quickly. The two of them are noticing and trying to create the incentives and the friendlier atmosphere for sellers and shoppers alike. Really, whoever has the shoppers wins, right? But they know having happy sellers is a big factor as well. There's a battle going on right now. Who wins? We do. No matter how this battle goes, these two massive giants are throwing billions at making this thing work for their company, and we win every time they duke it out. Beautiful landscape of opportunities emerging for the reselling opportunities out there. That's my top 10 list of reasons why the future looks very bright for Amazon reselling. If you want to talk to someone on our team, schedule a call. I might take the call, but there's several other good people on our team that do our consulting and help with manage our coaching relationships with our students. If you want to get on the calendar with us and schedule a half-hour call so we can talk you through your roadmap from where you are now to where you'd like to be. Maybe you're a clueless newbie. Maybe you've already got $1 million a month business. Maybe you're somewhere in between. We'd love to talk about your roadmap going forward and how maybe we can help contribute to your success. Go to silentjim.com/book a call, all one word. Hop on our calendar or send us a text anytime or call us. We're around the office quite a bit. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll pick up the phone and have a conversation anytime with anyone about their e-commerce business. We'd love that. So let's get to know each other. Or if you just want to kind of sit back and learn a little bit more, soak up a little bit more, check us out. A couple things, free homework assignments, but go do these. Listen to 10, 15, maybe 20 podcast episodes in the next few days. Real people, real interviews. See if that doesn't encourage, motivate, and inspire you. Or you can also do this. Go to silentjim.com. I mentioned that book, Silent Sales Machine, the book behind this podcast. silentjim.com/free11 has details on how you get a completely free copy of that book. We'd love to send it to you. Check it out, read through that, see if that doesn't help encourage and inspire you. Whatever your preference is, we're here to help out. We've also just passed 80,000 members in our free Facebook group. If you want to come see over 2,500 success posts from our community in an arena that is characterized by an abundance mindset, meaning we're there to help each other out, solve each other's problems, share the victories, cry on each other's shoulders when things don't quite work out, but in all cases, move forward with creative solutions every step of the way. Hey, that's what we do all day, every day with 80,000 business building warriors around the world. It's completely free. silentjim.com has a link to our free Facebook group. Jump over there, join us. Last thing, I promise, but this is a big one. Circle these 3 days on your calendar right now. Get it out. Open up your app. Open up your Google Calendar. May 29, 30, 31st of 2025. Be in Orlando, Florida. Come join us. Get your tickets right now. Hundreds are already registered. We had about 850 or so last year come down to Orlando. Very family-friendly event. Bring everyone from your team. Room rates are ridiculously low at the DoubleTree Inn in Orlando, Florida, right next to SeaWorld. It's going to be a beautiful event. The website that has all the details is 3 words, okay? Get ready for this. The Proven Conference. 3 words. theprovenconference.com. Register. Show up. Nearly 40 breakout sessions planned for this year. Everything from clueless newbie classes to get you started all the way up to the advanced strategies, the most successful sellers in our community, the people who are doing the stuff we teach every day around here. That's who teaches these sessions. We're not bringing in a bunch of book experts and people that you could watch on YouTube. These are real people, real families coming down to have a good time together in 3 days of learning at The Proven Conference. Can't wait to see you there. The longest running Amazon seller conference in the world. We've been doing it longer than Amazon itself. And we're so proud of our track record of really bringing the value every year. Well, God bless you, business building warrior. It's been great hanging out with you. Thanks for coming through this top 10 list with me. Please share this with a friend. Tell them to go to silentjim.com, get inspired and encouraged and motivated. Do it with someone else. It's a lot easier to build a business if you're doing it with friends. God bless you, warrior. We will have another great episode for you very soon.